In 1959, 9 hikers went missing in the Ural Mountains. Their tent was found torn open from the inside, and their bodies were discovered with strange injuries. For over 60 years, people have wondered, what really happened that night? Was it an avalanche, a wild animal, or something more mysterious? Today, we'll explore the truth behind the Dyatlov Pass incident. It's February 1959. A group of students from the Ural Polytechnic Institute, led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, sets out on what should be the adventure of a lifetime. Their destination, the icy, remote slopes of Mount Otorten, deep in the Ural Mountains of the Soviet Union. They are no amateurs. These are young, highly skilled hikers and skiers. They've trained, planned, and documented everything with meticulous detail. The trip would take them across some of the harshest terrain in Russia, but they never came back. Weeks later, search parties were sent out. What they found would haunt investigators for decades.
The hiker's tent was discovered abandoned on the mountainside. But it wasn't just abandoned, it had been slashed open from the inside. Their boots, coats, food, and survival gear, all left behind. It was as if they fled into the night in pure panic. Not far from the tent, searchers found the first bodies. Some lay in the snow half-dressed, barefoot, with no jackets. 2 were under a cedar tree, with signs they had desperately tried to climb it. Others were scattered further down the slope. And then came the most disturbing discovery: 4 more bodies in a ravine, with injuries so bizarre they defied explanation. 1 had a crushed chest, another had a fractured skull, 1 was missing her tongue, yet there were no external wounds. No cuts, no bruises, nothing that matched the level of internal destruction. It was as if they had been in a car crash, but in the middle of nowhere. The Soviet investigation ended quickly and strangely. The official cause, a vague phrase, a compelling natural force. But no one could agree on what that meant. Theories exploded. Some claimed it was a secret Soviet missile test that went wrong. Others whispered about a Yeti attack. More practical theories blamed hypothermia and disorientation, or an avalanche that forced them to flee. But each explanation had holes. An avalanche would leave signs in the snow. There were none. Why slash open the tent from the inside when the front flap was perfectly usable? And what about those horrifying internal injuries without external trauma? In recent years, modern scientists attempted to put the case to rest. The leading theory: a rare type of avalanche, known as a slab avalanche. The idea was that heavy snow slid onto the tent, forcing the group to cut their way out in a panic. But here's the problem: the slope wasn't steep enough, and the snowpack wasn't thick enough to explain the evidence. Most importantly, if an avalanche hit them, the bodies should have had broken bones and visible trauma. The first victims had none. The last 4 had catastrophic internal damage, injuries that didn't match the avalanche pattern at all. The avalanche theory doesn't explain the missing tongue, the strange burns, or why the tent was abandoned so suddenly. It doesn't explain the pure terror that seemed to drive them into the blizzard. But something else does. Among the hikers' belongings was a camera. Dozens of photos survived: smiling faces, snow-covered mountains, group poses. But one image, the very last frame, stood out. It's known as the photo of the 9. At first glance, it looks like nothing. A dark, blurry shot of the night sky. Many dismissed it as an accidental trigger, the result of cold hands fumbling with the shutter. But look closer. Right here, highlight. That isn't a smudge. It isn't a flaw in the film. Its shape and glow are consistent with a rare atmospheric phenomenon called a Kármán vortex streak. What is that? It's a repeating pattern of swirling vortices created when strong wind flows around a mountain. And here's the chilling part: a Kármán vortex doesn't just create swirls in the air, it creates sound. Powerful, low-frequency sound waves called infrasound. Infrasound is sound too low for human ears to detect, but our bodies feel it. At certain frequencies, infrasound can induce panic, disorientation, and overwhelming dread. It can vibrate the internal organs, making you feel like you're suffocating. Imagine lying in your tent at night. Suddenly, without warning, your chest tightens, your heart races, You're gripped by a primal terror you can't explain. Every instinct tells you to run. That's what infrasound can do. Now imagine 9 people all feeling that at once. They panic. They slash open their tent in blind fear. They flee into the -30°C night without boots or coats. The cold quickly claims 5 of them. The others make it farther but fall into a ravine, where the pressure of infrasound continues to batter their bodies, literally shaking their organs apart without leaving a mark on their skin. This isn't science fiction, it's physics. The same phenomenon has been documented in mountain ranges worldwide, and it may explain every mystery of Dyatlov Pass. Star. No avalanche. No monster. No Soviet cover-up. The real culprit was the mountain itself, wind, snow, and topography creating a perfect storm of invisible terror. The hikers didn't die because they were unskilled or unlucky. They died because they camped in the wrong place at the wrong time, on a night when nature unleashed a force that human senses can't even perceive. The case wasn't solved by secret files or conspiracy theories. The answer was there all along, captured in a single blurry photograph, overlooked for decades. The Dyatlov Pass incident remains one of the most chilling stories of the 20th century, not because of aliens or monsters, but because of how fragile we really are against the hidden powers of nature. So what do you think? Was it truly infrasound that drove them into madness and death? Or is there still a piece of the puzzle we've missed? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want to hear more about history's darkest mysteries and real crimes, make sure to subscribe to Secret Trace, because sometimes, the scariest answers are the ones hiding in plain sight.